It's 3 a.m. in Antigua, Guatemala. A mother hears guitar music outside her daughter's bedroom window. She rushes in and finds her 8-year-old daughter sitting up in bed, eyes open but unseeing, as if in a trance. The girl's hair, which was loose when she went to sleep, is now braided. Not just braided, elaborately braided in patterns the girl couldn't possibly do herself. Intricate designs with ribbons woven through. The mother asks, "Who did this?" The daughter, still in her trance, whispers, "The little man in the big black hat. He sang to me, he braided my hair. He said he'll come back tomorrow." The mother looks out the window. There, in the moonlight, she sees a figure walking away. A man no taller than a child, wearing a hat so large it seems impossible he can stand. This is El Sombrerón, the Hat Man of Guatemala. For 300 years, he's been choosing girls, braiding their hair, and stealing their minds. Tonight, you'll learn why Guatemalan mothers cut their daughters' hair short, why they nail horseshoes above windows, and why once El Sombrerón chooses your daughter, she's never truly yours again. El Sombrerón's legend comes from Guatemala, specifically from the colonial city of Antigua, though sightings occur across all of Guatemala and parts of El Salvador and Honduras. The name means the big hat man, and that hat is his most defining feature. It's not just large, it's absurdly, impossibly large, wider than his entire body, and yet he wears it perfectly balanced. The most accepted origin story dates to the early 1700s, during Spanish colonial rule. There was a wealthy Spanish nobleman who lived in Antigua. He was short in stature, something that caused him great shame in an era when height meant authority and masculinity. To compensate, he wore the largest hats money could buy, enormous wide-brimmed hats that made him appear more imposing. This nobleman had a dark obsession. He fell in love with young girls, not adult women, but girls aged 8 to 14, with long, beautiful hair. In colonial times, long braided hair was the ultimate symbol of feminine virtue and beauty. The longer a girl's hair, the more valuable she was considered as a future bride. The nobleman would court these young girls inappropriately. He'd serenade them with his guitar, give them gifts of silver ribbons for their hair, and braid their hair himself, claiming it was fatherly affection, but the community knew better. His obsession wasn't paternal, it was possessive, obsessive, wrong. The breaking point came when he became fixated on one particular girl, the daughter of a powerful Spanish military officer. The nobleman wouldn't leave her alone. Every night, he'd appear outside her window, playing guitar and singing love songs. The girl's father warned him to stop. He didn't. The officer warned him again. He continued. Finally, the officer had enough. He confronted the nobleman in the town plaza in front of everyone. The nobleman, humiliated and enraged, challenged the officer to a duel. But the officer, being a trained military man, easily defeated him. The nobleman died in the plaza, his ridiculous oversized hat rolling across the cobblestones, soaking up his blood. But that wasn't the end. According to legend, the nobleman's obsession was so powerful, so all-consuming, that it couldn't die with his body. His spirit rose, but transformed. He became smaller, compressed, child-sized. His beloved hat grew even larger, becoming supernaturally massive, and his obsession became his eternal purpose. Now cursed to wander Guatemala forever, El Sombrerón searches for girls with long, beautiful hair. When he finds one who captivates him, he begins his courtship. He appears outside her window at night, playing his guitar. The music is enchanting, hypnotic, irresistible. The girl falls into a trance. While she sleeps, he enters through the window no lock, can keep him out-tanned, spends hours braiding her hair in intricate, beautiful patterns. He weaves silver ribbons through the braids. He sings to her softly, and he promises to return tomorrow night, and the next night, and the next. The girl becomes obsessed with him. She stops eating, stops playing with other children, only waits for nightfall when he'll return. Parents watch helplessly as their daughter wastes away, consumed by thoughts of the little man in the big hat. Some girls die from this enchantment, others recover, but only if drastic measures are taken. And then Sombrerón? He eventually moves on to another girl, because his obsession isn't really about any individual girl. It's about the hunt, the courtship, the possession. He's the eternal predator of innocence, and Guatemala's dark streets are his hunting ground. El Sombreron's abilities are specific and disturbing. Unlike violent entities like El Silbón or La Patasola, he doesn't physically harm his victims. His weapon is obsession, enchantment, psychological possession, and in many ways that's more terrifying than death. His primary power is his music. When El Sombreron plays his guitar and sings, the sound carries supernatural compulsion. Girls who hear it fall into trances. They become hypnotized, unable to resist. Their minds are no longer their own. Even parents in the same house often can't hear the music only. The targeted girl can. His second power is his ability to enter anywhere. Locked doors mean nothing. Barred windows provide no defense. He passes through solid barriers as if they don't exist. Some say he shrinks even smaller to slip through cracks. Others say he simply appears inside. The locks be damned. Third, he has perfect braiding skill. In minutes, he can create braids so intricate they'd take hours for a human. He never makes mistakes, never pulls hair. The braids are always perfect, beautiful, and impossible. This is his signature, his calling card, proof of his visit. Fourth, and most insidious, he creates dependency. Once a girl is under his spell, she needs him. She craves his nightly visits. Without them, she becomes despondent, depressed, and eventually self-destructive. It's not just enchantment, it's addiction. He makes himself her everything. But there are defenses. The most common is cutting the girl's hair very short. If there's no hair to braid, El Sombreron loses interest. He's obsessed with the ritual of braiding. No long hair, no obsession. Throughout Guatemala, you'll see young girls with surprisingly short hair. Their mothers aren't making a fashion choice. They're making a survival choice. Second defense, iron horseshoes nailed above windows and doors. El Sombreron, like many supernatural entities, is repelled by iron. It won't stop him permanently, but it makes entry difficult and painful for him, often causing him to move on to easier targets. Third, blessed items, crosses, holy water, saints' medals placed around the girl's neck. These create spiritual barriers. El Sombreron, being a cursed spirit, finds holy objects uncomfortable. They weaken his hold on the girl. Fourth, moving away. Some families, desperate and with no other options, leave Guatemala entirely. Most often, this works. El Sombreron seems bound to Guatemala, specifically to areas he knew in life. But there are reports of him appearing as far as Los Angeles and Houston, where large Guatemalan immigrant communities live. Perhaps he follows his people. Modern sightings continue regularly. In 2016, a family in Antigua reported finding their daughter's hair braided every morning for a week straight, despite cutting it short each day. It grew back overnight, already braided. They brought in a priest who performed an exorcism on the house. The braiding stopped, but the family moved to Guatemala City anyway, too traumatized to stay. In 2019, a young girl in Quetzaltenango was hospitalized for severe malnutrition. She'd stopped eating entirely, claiming she was waiting for the little man with the big hat. Doctors found no physical cause for her refusal to eat. A curandera, a traditional healer, was brought in, so performed a limpia spiritual cleansing, and placed protective herbs around the girl's hospital bed. The girl slowly recovered but had to keep her hair short for 3 years before the obsession fully faded. Social media in Guatemala is filled with mothers sharing protection methods. Cut your daughter's hair. Put iron by the window. Blessed metals around her neck. Don't let her sleep near windows. This isn't ancient folklore forgotten by modern people. This is active, living belief practiced today. El Sombreron represents something deeply unsettling about predatory obsession. He's not violent. He doesn't shout or attack. He's gentle, patient, romantic even, in his own twisted way. And that makes him more insidious. He doesn't take girls by force. He seduces their minds until they give themselves willingly to his obsession. In Guatemala, parents fear him not because he'll kill their daughters, but because he'll steal their daughters' minds. He'll turn them into hollow shells, obsessed with him, unable to live normal lives. And once he's started his courtship, breaking free requires drastic, painful measures. So in Guatemala, when the sun sets and guitars echo through colonial streets, mothers check their daughters' windows. They make sure the iron horseshoes are secure. They say prayers. And they hope that tonight, the little man in the impossibly big hat chooses someone else's daughter. Because once he chooses yours, the braiding never really stops. Even years later, even with short hair, even far away, his victims sometimes wake up feeling phantom hands in their hair, hearing distant guitar music, remembering the little man who loved them in the most terrible way possible.